Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great acoustics here.
All right. Well, once we get out, we're going to see something that the public normally doesn't see. We're going to take a quick gander at the trophies.
Okay.
And we have two of them, the 77 and the 2000 trophies right here. This is 77. We beat the Dodgers.
Let's stop right here. Don Lawson's perfect game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
In 1956, Game 5 of the World Series.
I scored that at home with my sister. I had the box score. We sat there and watched the whole game. Okay, this is the trophies.
It's from the 2000 World Series.
Right.
And you can see some of the American League Championship trophies from some of the recent years here. It's from 96, 98, 99, 2001, 2003, and the World Series trophy, 2000.
Which is the World Series trophy that George Costanza drug to the parking lot?
Yeah,
which one was that?
None of these. None of these.
Mr. Steinbrenner was supposed to make an appearance on that show, and it never came about.
He's not a publicity hound, you know.
It would have been fun to see him.
Yeah, it probably would have. But you know what? I mean, between the success of the Seinfeld show and the Yankees at that time, one was feeding the other really well, and you know, it was something that the people here in New York were treated to, that they were able to use as a common denominator in conversation and stuff, and a lot of laughs. Yeah. And you know, laughter fills the soul. So we were able to help provide some of the laughs that those characters, those great characters that they had on the Seinfeld show were bringing.
Well, you know, Steinbrenner was actually played by two people on Seinfeld. The body was one person, the voice was something else.
Yeah,
it might have been Larry David.
I think that was Larry David.
Yeah. Oh, where are we now?
Now, I just want to let you know, there's Hideki Matsui coming in at this time, and
there he is.
You want to see where the Japanese media starts to really get.
Okay, we're looking at the Hideki Matsui coming through the out of the where he parks. You got the parking lot back there.
Parking lot. You can hear it,
and you can hear them coming. You can hear them coming.
The fans are underneath us. They don't want to get them too close.
There is a tremendous Asian presence in the New York Yankees store.
Oh, absolutely.
Tremendous.
Not only that, I had a tour today with people from Taiwan, and you know that Shin Yen Wang is from Taiwan, and he's one of our star pitchers. And they were so excited about his success here and everything. And
he could win the Cy Young.
He's got a good shot. He's got a real good shot.
What? Who would have thought that one day an Asian, I guess from Taiwan, a Taiwan player would win the Cy Young? I mean, that's spectacular.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is where the Yankees would be coming in from?
Yeah. Now, looking out where that large clump of buildings is the New York Presbyterian Hospital Center. And that's where Hilltop Park used to be from 1903 to 1912. And that's where the Yankees played for those 10 years.
Right.
They moved to the Polo Grounds where that first set of terracotta buildings is off to the right. That's about 157th Street and 8th Avenue. Right underneath Coogan's Bluff, exactly. And that's where they played from 1913 to 1922 before they were evicted and came here in 1923. So it's just a little progression of where the team played.
Okay. We have a little trivia now. Who was the only one and only Yankee manager in the history of the game that never won a game at Yankee Stadium?
Bill Burden.
Bill Burden, that's right. Johnny Keane beat him, I think, in the World Series, and then Keane was the manager the next year. But Burden or Keane was the young manager?
Burden was the manager in 1974 and after 1975 when he was replaced on Old-Timers Day by Billy Martin.
Right.
So those were the days we were in Shea Stadium.
You were in Shea Stadium, sure. So there was. So Bill Burden was the only Yankee manager never to win a game at Yankee Stadium.
Right.
For a full season.
Well, no. We're talking about from the time Yankee Stadium was built. Now, keep in mind that we had managers that go back to 1903.
Right.
All right? You had different managers from 1903 that were playing in Hilltop Parks.
No, I got you. But ever since Yankee Stadium opened,
yes,
the only manager not to win a home game at Yankee Stadium was Bill Burden.
Right.
Okay, so we got that. All right. Okay,
now,
where we go now?
What we're going to do is head into the press box.
Okay. It's great getting into the clubhouse. You know, I've done Boston Garden and Camden Yards, but you're never allowed in the the home, they let you go in the visitors' press box, but never in the home press. I mean, in the dugout, in the clubhouse. I'm sorry, in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Let's state that again. It's the clubhouse.
It's the inner sanctum, the Yankee clubhouse. Yeah.
I think I cleared that up. Clubhouse. There you go. Okay.
Right.
Okay, we're coming through. Okay, we're looking at all the championships here, 26, and I think the second most successful professional franchise, Montreal Canadiens, they may be stuck on 23 championships. And one of the years they didn't win was the year I was born, 1940. The Yankees did not win the series. They won in 39 and 41, but not in 40.
1940. No, that was the Cincinnati Reds year.
Wow.
Yep. This is where the press is located.
Okay.
The front row is your local newspapers, as you could see, the New York Times, New York Star Ledger, Daily News, New York Post, the Bergen Record, Herald Statesman, Herald Statesman, Hartford Courant, and in the second and third rows we have auxiliary press. Off to your right we have scoreboard operations, and off to your left we have the television booth, the camera site number 1. We have about 10 different camera sites here, and that's camera site number 1. And then you have the Yes Network adjacent to that.
Right. The presence of the Asian fans here and the newspapers, is that a result of Matsui and coming to the team, or has it always been this present?
No, absolutely not. Baseball just happens to be the national pastime of Japan. Also, baseball came there by Dr. George Wilson back in 1883, and had since become their national pastime. But it wasn't until Hideki Matsui came here that the tremendous amount of press that you'll see that's going to be out on that field when they do start taking the field. I don't know if they're going to have batting practice today. Right now it looks pretty bleak because it's about 3:30, but there's going to be a tremendous amount of Japanese press because Hideki just came back after a 4-month recovery.
Big time. 4 for 4 again. Yeah.
Big time, absolutely. So that's such a great sign for us too, that we're going to have real good depth in the bench going into postseason play. So not only him, but also Chien Mien Wang. We've also had other countries that outside of the United States, obviously the Central America and South America, but also Australia. You had ball players coming from different parts of the globe because baseball is played in other countries. So, but right now, with as you mentioned, the preponderance of the Asian media is tremendous. And
how's the view from here? I'm looking down. Yeah, I guess they can see sitting down there.
Right now, we're looking at it from the last row. But if we take a step down here, you can see.
Okay, we're going down the steps here.
View.
Okay, New York Times. Oh, they've got 2. There, Star Ledger too. Daily News. Mm-hmm. So this is it. Yeah. And you said some of the stuff is coming over. Monuments are coming over. Of course they're going to be coming over to the new stadium. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it? You've been here since you said 1950. 1958.
Yeah, I've been here since Actually, I started coming out here in 1949. My dad was an usher, and after about 10 years of coming out with him. He said, "Hey pal, you're coming out on your own long enough, you're going to have to start earning it." So I became an usher. They flipped me an usher's mitt in 1958, and I started working then. So through all the years, I saw a lot of great things that went on in Yankee Stadium number 1. This is actually Yankee Stadium number 2. Right. And I didn't really feel all that great about watching the Stadium number 1 go down because I had a lot of fond memories of coming out here in 1949. Now, if you remember then, we had black and white TV. There weren't many color TVs around. So when you're watching the games, when they were televised, you saw them in black and white. And it was exciting. But when you came to the ballpark that first time and you saw that beautiful green grass and that beautiful blue sky, it was just tremendous. What an impact that it made, walking out on the upper deck behind home plate, having this whole field unfold in front of you. And that's where a lot of my life was spent, looking at that field. Yeah. And after it came down in 1973, I was saddened by that. But this one coming down, I don't know if it's going to have the same effect. as Stadium number 1 going down, because that's when I had those initial impressions as a youngster.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that happened here from 1976 until today, which I will take with me. The memories will be there. The stadium won't.
There's a magic about it. I mean, like I said, my dad didn't take us to many Yankee games because he was not a fan of the subway. So he wound up, singing the Dodgers all the time. And so that may be, growing up in Brooklyn as a Yankee fan, it was not always the safest course to take. It was almost the Brooklyn and Bronx being natural enemies because of the baseball situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I had the opportunity, I used to come out with my dad and look at the reporters working in the batting cage and all that, interviewing and writing and all that. I guess they don't do much writing anymore. It's all it is now. But I used to say, boy, I wish I could be out there. There's a magic to be on the magic to just walk the warning track, just to be out there in that field. I mean, it's one thing up here looking at it, but it's certainly another thing sitting in the coach's box, standing there. It's a whole different thing. And, of course, I had the opportunity to have people sitting in the stands during batting practice as I was watching, as I was doing interviews at Shea Stadium. And so it just comes around, all of a sudden you're the person that they wish they could be. There's a magic being on a baseball field.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, when you take
that's not a question.
You take that from your childhood and naturally all the years that go by, and all of a sudden you have the opportunity to go on those so-called hallowed grounds. They call them hallowed grounds, I guess, because of the religious leaders that were here, and the ball players that did roam those areas out there also made it somewhat sacred to the people, and being a part of it, like walking out there, as you mentioned, it's just a great feeling.
You're walking on the same. You're following the footsteps of the Gehrigs and the Hugginses and the Roots and the Reggie Jackson. I mean, he was only here for a couple of years, but I saw one pitch the year that he hit the 3 home runs in the one game in the World Series. I got to see one pitch. I came into the room, I was in Tampa, I turned on the game to see what was happening, and Jackson was coming up, and the stadium was going wild. And I said to myself, well, this guy must be having a pretty good night. What am I looking at? And then the stats went up. He had 3 home runs, 2 home runs, but everything on the first pitch. All 3 home runs were on the first pitch.
One pitch.
So, and I'm convinced that when Reggie Jackson is a very focused individual. And I have a feeling he woke up that morning and said, I'm going to hit 3 home runs tonight.
Wow, that's possible.
I got this feeling because when he sat down in the dugout, he had the 3 fingers up. I said, this guy, it's like he plotted his course. There was something he wanted. He was destiny. He was going to do something,
He really shined in those clutch situations.
Mr. October.
As you absolutely called him, Mr. October. So
the 3 home runs. I mean,
I could remember them till today. They were 2 nice line shots going into the right field stands over there, but that one that was hit to center field of Charlie Huff, boy, that was really tagged.
That's the one of the paintings. The big one.
It
had all that rise to it. It was just a towering kind of thing.
You talk about towering drives. There was a drive here on May 22nd in 1963 by Mickey Mantle, batting left-handed, and that ball came within 18 inches of leaving the ballpark up in that roof area in right field, Herb. So if you could just visualize that, maybe that top was maybe 7 rows lower at that time, and that's where the roof was, and that's where the frieze or facade, as it was known. And if it had cleared those 18 inches, right about where that 3rd bracket of lights is, a lot of people, including physicists, claim the ball may have gone somewhere between 525 and 550 feet.
No impediment, nothing to impede it.
Right, exactly. But, unfortunately, it did hit that facade at that time.
Well, no ball, of course, has ever been hit fair out of Yankee Stadium. I mean,
no you know who else came close, though? This guy by the name of
Puner?
No, Josh Gibson. In the Negro National League World Series in 1930, batting right-handed, and at the tender young age of 18 years old, hit a ball that went over the lip of the upper deck where the box seats jut out at the end. Behind it is an escalator shaft which wasn't there in 1930. There's a fence. They joined the bleachers wall with that portion of the stadium, and that's where Josh's ball hit. So those were the 3 closest balls that came to leaving the ballpark in fair territory during regulation play. Guys like Jimmy Fox, Ted Williams, Elston Howard, Frank Howard came close, and big shots into the upper deck up in left field, which was tremendous. Left field, as you may know, is a little deeper than right field. So
Jay Buhner hit a massive shot.
yeah,
here.
he hit one out there where you see those green fences.
Right.
Yeah, his went right out in that
But he
area.
wasn't with the Yankees at the time.
No, he was with the Seattle Mariners.
Yes, Seattle Mariners.